Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pizza Motorcast. We got a live special guest, Johnny Dangerously from the Classic American Muscle Association. How you doing, Johnny?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good. And you got the tuner David Meyer over there, hey, David?
Hey, what's happening?
Not much. So, John, how did you begin your drag racing career?
Well, I would say I started out back in 1985. I found a bracket car, a '67 Camaro. It was actually owned by Walt Gray, one of the big time bracket racers. I saw an ad in the paper, and he was selling it. So I drove out there with my buddies, and we looked at it. While we were out there, he won a big event with the car. So we made a deal on the car. I bought it and brought it back home. And I started bracket racing back in '86.
Wow, so 1986. So, what was the experience like for the first time going down a drag race track?
The first time I went down the drag race track, well, it wasn't pretty. I had a street car, a '69 Camaro that I thought was super fast. I ran 12 something. But when I got behind the wheel of this thing and did a burnout in it, pulled up to the line and stepped on the gas, it scared the crap out of me. I think the first thing I did was I let off the gas, and I came back because my dad was there, my mom, my brother, and I came back down the return road, and I said, well, I guess this isn't for me, because it scared the crap out of me, and, the guy sold me the car turnkey, and it ran 1040s, and I'd never been anything that fast, so by the end of the day, everybody calmed me down, and we got the thing running. I think we ran a 1060 by the end of the day, so I was pretty happy, and just kind of took off from there.
Now, tell us about the car you're currently driving.
The car I have now is a '79 Malibu. It's a street legal all steel car. It's got a full interior, big block Chevy, 540 cubic inch, and we're running a little bit of nitrous with that. Beast, yeah. Yes, it's a little wild. The car's kind of unpredictable. Dave came on this year and really brought me along, because we were just kind of out of control. And Dave put in the grid and helped me do all that stuff, and he tunes it, and now we kind of control the power a little bit.
So, how long have you been driving this Malibu now?
The Malibu, we've had it out here for I think this year was our 4th year with the car. The first year was a total disaster, because there was so many things that I was just taking for granted. I was kind of living in the past, thinking that I could just go get behind the wheel of the car and crank it up and drive it, but it's a different kind of power level than what I'm used to. So, it wasn't so good the first year. We started getting a handle on things the second year, and Tom Olson at TNT Racing Engines, I took him the engine from the car. It was the original engine was a 505, and Tom went through the engine, and we put some bigger pistons in it. He got us a cam that's going to work really good with the car, the weight and everything. So we put this engine together this year, and we took it out there, and we didn't realize that our torque converter wasn't going to work with this kind of power. So we figured that out pretty quickly with the grid that Dave put in the car. So once we figured out that we were overpowering the torque converter, we realized that we need to, do something there. Once what did we do? We went to ATD transmissions or hipsters. They built us a torque converter specifically for the car. And one nitrous, because we're spraying the nitrous right off the line. So he built us a really nice converter that works really well. And we dropped a full second off of our time, just with the torque converter. So, this year was pretty spectacular.
So how long you been racing with the Classic American Muscle Association now?
Well, this was our first year with the club, so this was this was the breakout year for us. So it's a new group, and we got a lot of great cars and great people, and it's run really, really well. They run a tight ship, and they keep things really going.
Now for next year, you're going to be running another class too?
Yeah, we're going to do the Classic American Muscle, but we're going to do some of the 860 index races. We're going to try that because we have definitely, we could slow the car down and run in that index. So that'll be a little bit of a challenge for us, trying to run a number instead of just running as fast as we can go. So we're going to have to, we're going to figure out right away next year, how we can slow the car down and try to dial it in.
Yeah. So
we're probably going to pull back some of the nitros, maybe, retard the timing a bit. We might even throw some weight at the car in the back. That should be easy. It's easy to make a car go slower. It's harder to make a car go faster. Yeah.
So how you like being a tuner for John David?
Well, it's been a learning curve for me because I've never really had much of experience with nitrous. I'm naturally aspirated, but just learning about the different the features of the grid was really cool. And I asked a lot of people up at the track how they do it, and kind of interesting that I don't know if you know anything about the grid, but they have like 5 different step retards that you can use that are activated by basically once power is thrown to a specific wire to a specific circuit, then you can have different things happening. You can have either more nitrous coming in, or you can have the timing get retarded at the same time. But we figured out a way how we can use the launch retard basically to control our as we're throwing more nitrous at it, we can pull more timing quickly and then ramp it back to where we have to. But there's a lot of the grid's pretty much infinitely adjustable. But the best part about the grid though is it also has an add-on air-fuel ratio that we've basically been able to data log. So we can see if we're running fat or lean. We can tell if we're about ready to burn a piston down. So I can't, I don't know how Johnny did it at all without the grid before. I think that he was just really flying by the seat of his pants and getting lucky. Or actually, I think he was running fat as hell. That's what I think.
Yeah, for 3 years I ran a real conservative tune.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun. John and I have developed a really good, close friendship, and he is crazy. By no, he does some stuff. Hey John, how many times you stood your car up on a bumper? Has it been like 4 or 5? What do you think?
Yeah, it's every once in a while, it's unpredictable. We just don't,
We try to look at the track and stuff. We try to look at what other cars are doing. We try to look at the air temperature and everything, and we might pull more, timing to slow the car down, and then it reacts even different. It reacts weird. It is kind of unpredictable. We still do have. We got a lot of room to grow with the chassis on this car. We don't have enough adjustability, and that's some of the stuff we're going to work on over this next winter here. We're right now, and John's going to freshen it up. Just basic maintenance on it, you know. But we're going to actually go after some of the safety stuff that we've talked about for a while. We're going to throw a parachute, probably wheelie bars, and some different shocks in the back. And, you know, you'd have to really be able to tune a car like this. You have to tune the chassis, not just the engine, for the track and the track conditions and the temperature of the air and humidity and everything else. It's very challenging, and what's most important is to take good records so you can fall back on your data from other runs and say, hey, look, the track was doing this day, and it's exactly the same today. Let's put that same tune-up in it and see what happens, you know?
Yeah, so you got to tune your car as well, David, or you got a tuner for your car?
My car is a street engine, and it's you know, it's pretty tame. My best time was a 10:55, but I got you know, in my Oldsmobile I have a big block with cast iron heads that are heavily ported. I'm running pump gas. I didn't know what I was doing when I built my engine. I didn't know I was going to be building a tube chassis car, but this isn't all about me. My tuning on my car is just like turn the key and go. You know, it's like I don't have a nitrous car. It's not crazy or nothing like that. It's never really scared me. It's fun to drive, but it's not scary like John's car. That's why I glammed onto him, Johnny Dangerously here. Try to tune him and tone him down too at the same time. Try to pull him back to earth here. He gets a little hyped up sometimes.
So Johnny, what's the quickest ET you've had with that car?
We went, what was it? The last Nitro Streetcar Brawl, we went 831, 163 or 4 miles an hour.
So are you looking to get that thing faster next year?
Well, I mean, we know what we have. We have more. Lots.
The engine's plenty capable of putting that car into the sevens. Right now, the chassis is kind of holding us back a little bit, so that's why we're going to concentrate on mostly safety concerns, too. We're going to put a diaper on it this year. You know, this car, if you saw the car ever, you'd think that it was a show car. You wouldn't think that it was a drag car. John painted it himself in the garage. He's got a couple thousand hours into wet sanding it, and, I mean, he's super anal meticulous about everything about the car. I mean, but that's what makes it kind of special and different. It really is a street car. I mean, he drives it on the street, but he's crazy. You know, it's loud. If a cop saw him, he'd probably just shake his head and go and let him go, you know, I mean, because he wouldn't have enough paper to write all the tickets.
Now, Johnny, if you keep going on the bumper so much, you might want to run with the Pro E85 guys.
Yeah, I mean, the last Nitro Streetcar Brawl, we had a little shootout with our camera group, and well, we qualified number 2 in our group, and we were really excited, but we had a little incident that night that took us out of the final. We made it to the final 4, but we took ourselves out, and we misjudged the amount of traction, because what happened was it was probably 65 to 70 degrees that day, I believe, or maybe.
No, it was colder. It was that night.
Yeah, during the day it was really warm.
Right.
And they prepped the track pretty good for those streetcar brawls, and we were doing okay all day. We had no traction issues whatsoever, and we miscalculated because we thought when that temperature dropped that we were going to run into an issue. So we put too much traction into the car and a little bit too much power, I think, maybe.
Well, you didn't listen to me. You were supposed to, you said leave the timing where it is, and you were going to pull some nitrous out of it, and you ignored the tuner, and you split it up.
So. Well, we didn't just stand it up. We did a wheelie, and then it got worse because, your first reaction is when it goes up on the bumpers to lift a little bit. So I hit the throttle again, and I think we were at about 600 to 700 feet when the car actually came completely off the ground on that third wheelie. because it caught air. And I could feel the right rear tire completely, come away from the racetrack, and that was probably the most scary thing that I did in a while. So,
well, you did some damage to the car that night.
Yeah, we did some damage.
He dented up the oil pan a bit, and he actually bent the motor mounts on it at the same time. We pulled the engine there, and we actually looked at some of the stuff on the bottom end to make sure stuff was good. We straightened out the pan the best we could. We're probably going to put a new pan in it next year, just because we can't stand any little dings and nicks and stuff in the pan.
Right. Yeah.
It's got to be pretty for John.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit. Next year, we're going to try to be more in control, because it scares me a little bit, but I think it scares everybody around me more. And I don't want the people around me to start,
not want to run against it.
Yeah, I've got people that say they don't even want to run me, even though I'm not that out of control. I keep it in my lane when I have to, and I don't know. I mean, we want to be more in control of what we're doing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want other racers say, I don't want to line up with Johnny Dangerously.
Right? Yeah, I mean, we had one incident where we went into the right lane, but it was a by run, and obviously, if that was not a by run, I would have handled things completely differently.
Took out a cone that night.
Yeah, we've taken out a few of the 330 cones, but
with the back tires.
Yeah, with the bumper, the one got shoved under the back bumper. That was pretty cool. Yeah, they didn't even find it, they said.
So who gave you the name Johnny Dangerously?
I don't know where that started. I think that actually started back in the 80s. Broadway Bob used to pay me, and say, hey, come up. I'll pay your way in. We really want you up here. And I had a Camaro that did, some crazy stuff, and he loved it. We took out the Christmas tree one time.
It was a low 9-second car, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a low 9 car. We were running nitrous back then, and I hit it was before I had wheelie bars on the car, and we went, and we hit it so hard that I didn't even know what happened. I just completely pummeled the underneath of my car and ran over the Christmas tree. Didn't even see it. Didn't even know it was there. So that's kind of how the name got started years ago.
Yeah, Broadway Bob was one of a kind for sure.
Yeah, he was. It was a lot of fun going up there and then staying after the races and, having a few beers with them and just being crazy.
Hey, do you know what his favorite beer was?
What was his favorite beer?
You don't know?
No,
it's whatever beer you're giving him. That's his favorite beer.
I was gonna say I just saw him carrying different beers all the time. I didn't know he had a favorite. I didn't know he had a favorite.
I saw him drink Old Style.
Yeah, he liked Old Style a lot.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
So you have a great Broadway Bob story you could share?
Broadway Bob story. Well, that's a good one. Well, I'll tell you what. There was one night up there. He was sitting on top of that green Mamba when they were burning down something. I mean, I don't know, man. After that, he could hold his beer. It wouldn't even be shaking or nothing. I mean, that guy was. I don't know what it was about him. He had no fear. He was a good boy. I really enjoyed going up there when I was there. I mean,
he really likes kids too. He would sit there and spend time talking to kids and stuff. That impressed me a lot about him. He was just a great promoter. He'd go around and talk to the racers, and he would even offer, come on up there to the bar and get a beer or something. He really enjoyed everybody's company, and he made that track what it was back in that day. But I'll tell you, he was a little bit, he was kind of slick too. Because sometimes, he used to get big names up there, John Force and all kinds of.
Shirley Madani.
Yeah,
he was there.
And sometimes he would. It's kind of funny because he would promise money, and then all of a sudden, everybody'd be looking for him, and you'd see his taillights on that Cadillac taking off out of the parking lot.
Yeah, I started going up there with my dad when I was about 4 or 5. Yeah, seeing all the big names, funny cars, directors, all that stuff. Yeah. I miss those days when you used to have a whole, whole staging lane full of funny cars with the hoods up. That was the good old days, man.
Our track's doing okay. I mean, they're trying hard. It's really difficult because you got to think about it. Today's day and age, if a family wants to take their kids and stuff to the track, it's really pretty expensive, and they got to kind of. There's not a lot of people that have family passes, so if you have 2 kids, you're going to drop, $100, $150 pretty easily, and that's not easy for a lot of people to do in today's day and age. Back in the day, it was a little bit cheaper to get in, and it just it was a lot busier too. I mean, they have to figure out how they can make the track profitable, so they have to do what they have to do. They got to charge what they think is fair to be able to keep the track alive and keep it running.
Yeah. So where do you guys see this? The state of drag racing these days.
What? No idea what you said. Well, go ahead and say that again.
I said, where do you guys see the state of drag racing these days? How do you think how drag racing is doing, like NHRA?
What's NHRA? NHRA?
You think they're still getting a good amount of people going?
It's not as busy as I went to a main event up in Minnesota this year, and I mean the stands, they were filled up like on Saturday. They used to be filled up on every day, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's not like that anymore. It is really, really cool though. You should go to a national event and see what it's all about. The cool part of it is you can walk right up to the pits, and you can talk to the racers if they're out there and available to you. And it's really a neat thing. The one thing I don't really like about NHRA nowadays is the fact that the pro stock cars all look the same. They all kind of don't represent the real cars that are being driven off the showroom floors.
They're almost like pro mods.
Yeah, they are similar to like pro mods. And I just think it has to get back to the way it used to be. They said if you won on Sunday, they're selling on Monday. Nobody really cares about stuff like that anymore. Those cars are like, they're not even 100% as scale. They're small cars. They're tiny if you go look at them. And it's very impressive what they do and how fast they go. But to me, it's not the same as it was back in the day, like when Bob Glidden was racing, Lee Shepard, and all those guys really, they really showed us. They started out the way it should have been, running cars that were looking like they came off the showroom floor that were highly modified.
Yeah. Bill Grumpy Jenkins. Yeah. So
that was the good old days.
Oh yeah.
Now it's feeling Jenkins.
Oh
yeah. So John, besides David, how many other crew members do you have?
Well, it depends on the race. We got Jeff Samrad who comes up there. Who else do we? My fiance, Lana Millick. She actually helped me build the car.
Sure.
Yeah, she can turn wrenches just about as good as any guy I know. She's got an engineer mentality, and she's a problem solver. So when she's there, there's we can look at each other and then look at her and say, "What do you think?" And that's kind of cool because that she's a big part of it like that.
She also tries to feed us pretty good too.
Yeah, and she's a hell of a cook, let me tell you. So yeah, I mean we don't have a big crew, but we usually have enough people up there to help us get by. It just depends on the situation. If I call somebody, they'll be there for us. So it's when I first started this car, I didn't realize how much it was going to take and how many people and what a big job it is now. Because we check the spark plugs, we change spark plugs. I mean, we do so much to the car in between any rounds that it's a tremendous amount of work. And if you overlook anything, it's generally gonna bite you. So it's good to have good people that know what they're doing and understand the importance of every little thing that they do, because it could be a very simple thing that somebody forgets or doesn't do, and it's my ass on the line. So it's when you got the good people around you, it helps you relax a little bit, but it's still a little nerve wracking. It's never going to be getting in the car with a big smile on my face, and it gets pretty serious because the car's a 3,600-pound car, and we're making some decent horsepower, and at 165 miles an hour with that kind of weight and not having a parachute, it's a little. It's got good brakes though. It's got good brakes. I got stock brakes up in the front there that just bring that car to a screeching halt. I don't know how. Maybe it's my leg. But they're stock brake pads. I think they're even they're not Blues. Yeah, they're cheapos. They're like Napa True Stops or something. $14, for a set of brake pads.
It is tough at the track when I have to run my own car and try to help you tune yours and stuff too, though. It's kind of like you need to have a clone or something, huh?
Yeah, Dave's kind of scatterbrained, he's running around trying to do his deal, and sometimes, and then he's got to jump over and get his head into what I'm trying to do, and maybe make a quick tune change or something, and then we got to go back and forth and sync everything with the controllers, and so there's a lot of back and forth between us, like, and then he usually says, well, what about, he's usually the one that tries to keep me in check, but we're doing pretty good, as far as that goes, because we haven't put a scratch on the car. I mean, the shiny part yet, but the underneath's taken a beating a couple times, but we're definitely going to be a lot better this next year.
It is a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we're going to do some more of these shootouts, this CAMA group, because it's really fun for us, and everybody in the group really enjoyed that, so we'll have a qualifying run, and then we'll draw and see who runs who, and it was a really fun deal.
What do you get when you win?
Dave makes these kick-ass trophies, man. You should see them. He makes a dragster out of a pipe wrench, and it looks exactly like a real dragster. So there's some really cool trophies that he makes. your reaction time is going to win it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. And they're all different cars. You know, Steve Bohr has like a '79 Camaro or '80.
Yeah, it's kind of like a pro stock car. It's got a
Liberty Trans.
Yeah, it's a Liberty Trans, pretty nice, but it's a real small cubic inch high revving motor. I think he's
331 cubic inch,
spinning up to 11 or 12,000
RPM, small block that just screams.
He's having a lot of fun with that car.
Yeah, he's running some good numbers, and it's a really impressive car.
Steve is one of the leaders of our group with Tracy Sackett, and then Tracy's father. He's also one of the leaders of the group. And then Ron Buckey, too, is one of the administrators in the group. And we really had a lot of fun. And all the guys just like hanging out and helping each other out, whatever we can do. That's what's the coolest part of the group, is it really just brings everybody together. And we always look forward to it. I mean, and there are, I think there's like 4 girls in our group, too. I know Brooke is in there, and then I forgot what, Tina's in there. Is there another one, too, besides Tracy? We have at least 3 girls, 3 racers in our group that they're all doing really good, too.
Yeah, we got a pretty wide variety of cars, and they're all.
We don't have any AMCs in our group yet.
There's not one AMC. No. Well, maybe we'll change my car.
Yeah. Now, currently, John, do you have any sponsors for your car?
Just Dave.
Just Dave here. Dave's my major sponsor. So he does the freak heads. He does the porting. I got Harold Firo, who helps us out. He's a chassis builder up in Stevens Point. He builds custom headers, and he can build you an entire car. So he helps us out. And we got Tom over at TNT Racing Engines that's helping us out too. So, but we can use some more sponsors for sure. There's no doubt about that.
Slicks are expensive.
Yeah, I kind of really liking doing those half track burnouts now. I mean, they're kind of addictive.
And the crowd loves it.
Oh yeah, crowd loves it. But you know, it's funny when you get the tires, you go past the line like that, how the car, it literally feels like it's on ice. You know, once you get them that going, I mean, it's we've almost lost it a couple times doing it.
So, David, what kind of preparation goes into getting that car ready for a weekend of racing?
What kind of preparation?
Well, usually we're changing the oil about every 12 passes or so. We've got a bunch of plugs indexed up, ready to go. Usually we don't leave the plugs in for more than like 2 passes. We don't really worry about a lot of stuff until we get to the track. I mean, like tire pressure means that, it changes all the time. But we're usually looking at the weather, and we kind of have an idea in our head how much nitrous we're going to throw at it right away, because it's a little bit tedious to change the jets, at the track. It's not that bad, but sometimes we try to go for broke, and then other times we'll be a little more conservative. It just depends upon what we're trying to achieve at that point in time. Early on in the season, right after we got the grid in there, I forced John to slow way down. I wanted to creep up on the tune on the car to see where we were going to start to get out of control, where it was going to start to really be more dangerous. So I think for the first time, he actually even made a couple of no nitrous all motor hits this year, and then we basically just started off real low with the nitrous, and then slowly crept up on it to see. It was interesting too, because I think it has a lot to do with the chassis on the car, but it didn't seem to change all that much to go between 300 and a 400 shot of nitrous. It didn't pick up all that much like I thought it would have done more so.
Yeah, it was weird, because we were at one point on one of the nitro streetcar brawls. We actually, Dave told me that he doesn't want me to go out there and give away how fast the car's gonna go, and I pulled back a whole bunch of nitrous and the car made its fastest pass. It was a little weird.
Yeah, I wasn't there that day. That was when I...
And then he got pissed off, thinking I didn't listen to him, but I did. So, it's just, there's so many things. The funny thing is, to this day, we still haven't made a full pass. And that seemed to be our problem for the first couple of years because we had so many issues. I mean, we're making good passes, but we're not making, like, full, all-out runs. There's been a couple times where he came close. But Dave looks at the grid and he's like, well, what did you do? Why did you... He can tell how long I was on the gas pedal. Wide open throttle. He can look at that.
I can see if he missed the shift.
And he'll be like, why'd you shift so early? Usually what happens is when you race against another car, you're really... you're watching the other car, and feeling your car and seeing if you could, my car has the ability to pull on a car that gets out on me. A perfect example is when we did a little race against the Red Baron, and we actually put the whole car back together just for one pass after I smashed the shit out of the oil pan. We took the car up there. We unloaded it. We didn't make any test passes. And I raced the Red Baron, who's got, Camaro, really nice car.
Early 80s Camaro.
Early 80s, full tech tube chassis and stuff. He red lighted, like, pretty bad. And
this is a race.
And I said, chase is a race, so I got him by half track, and
you had 3 or 4 car lengths on him at the end.
I had 3 or 4 cars on him by the end, but it was still not a full pass for us. You know what I mean? I just wanted to get around him, and that was kind of for bragging rights for an entire week. Anytime Michael went on Facebook, he had to say that I was the king, the king of drag racing. So, I mean, I was getting notifications, like, for the first week after that race, I mean, like, 60 of them every day. Like, bing, Mike Gold mentioned your name. And then I look, and sure enough, he's like, at this point, I have to say that John Slowinski, Johnny Dangerously, is the best drag racer. So it was a lot of fun. He's a good guy.
Yeah. I love Mike and Mark up there in the booth.
Yeah, they do a good job, man. We think the world of those guys, and they do a great job making it fun for not only the fans, but the people that race there. I mean, they make it exciting for me. I love what they do, and it wouldn't be the same without them guys. That's for sure. Because if you go, like we went out to, I'm not knocking anybody, but we went out to Byron, NHRA, to do my NHRA license, and, the announcer it's not like what we have in Great Lakes,
Yeah, it was pretty
monotone, it was dry,
he wasn't very excited himself. Our announcers
they get like, whoa, look at that burnout, and it's good fun, and we love it.
Yeah. So how important do both of you guys think it is for the families that bring the kids out to watch drag racing these days?
Well, I think, it's important. We gotta get these younger people involved in the drag race, in the sport, because if you look around, there's not a lot of it, and that's kind of scary, because that's the future,
Exactly.
I was actually lucky enough to be able to take my oldest daughter, Danelle, for a ride down the track, and she made her first 10-second pass, and she was thrilled to death about it. That's a lifelong memory right there, And you're not technically supposed to do that fast, and I didn't actually do it at our track. I did it out at Norwalk, and they do allow that kind kind of thing. As long as the passengers has all the same safety equipment, helmet, jacket, seatbelt that the driver has, they allow it. Our track, I don't think that you can have a passenger going faster than 13 seconds, which makes sense, you know. It's all about safety.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's been quite a few people that said they can jump right in my car and they would be just fine. I really don't think so, but I'd love to prove them wrong sometime. Because there's times where I feel like I'm holding my breath, you know, sometimes, man. Or I ask myself a question, and when I get in a situation like, what am I doing here? You know, why am I doing this? This is crazy. But, yeah, it's good fun and it's good sport. And, you know, I'm not going to do it forever. We're probably going to, you know, do a couple more years or so. And I'm going to try to do something else maybe. You know, I kind of want to build another airplane. I built an airplane when I was younger, and I wouldn't mind building another aerobatic airplane.
So now the best way for people to see what's going on with you would be the Classic American Muscle Association page on Facebook, right?
Absolutely. Yep. You can go on there. You can see all of our drivers are on there, all the cars, and there's driver bios, and you can learn about each and every one of us.
I have it on a good inside source, too, that our Classic American Muscle Association group is going to be featured in an upcoming issue of the Nostalgic Drag World magazine. That's an online magazine, too. So that's pretty neat that we're picked to be included in that. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you guys, you know, I want to thank you both for taking time tonight to do this interview.
No problem, man. Anytime.
Well, Dave, it was a lot of fun. We'll see you at the track for sure.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Me and my wife will come by the pits and say hi to all you guys in the group. So.
Sounds good, man.
All right, thanks for having us on, Dave.
Oh, no problem. You guys have a great night. Have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
All right, you too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.